Welcome to the Lifetime Assembly channel. My name is Isaac, and today I'm going to help you assemble your 8x15 outdoor storage shed. Before we get started, make sure the model number of your shed is listed in the description below. This video will follow the steps outlined in the assembly manual that comes with your shed. So if you've already begun and need help on a specific step, check the description below for a timestamp associated with each step. There are steps in this assembly that require 2 people, so make sure you have at least one other adult available to help. Before we get into the assembly process, let's take a look at the tools you'll need to complete the job. You may want to pause the video now so you can gather the supplies shown on the screen. Also, you may see us use an impact driver. If you decide to use one as well, be careful not to over-torque or over-tighten the hardware. You'll also need additional tools to prepare the foundation for your shed, so refer to your manual to see what other resources you will need. All Lifetime sheds require a foundation to be built on. We recommend you build your foundation out of concrete. You can also use lumber for your foundation. This video is meant to be a companion to the assembly manual and not a direct replacement. For the best results, have the assembly manual on hand as you complete the job. It is also crucial that you refer to the assembly manual to review the safety instructions of this build to avoid serious injury or property damage. All right, let's get started. This section goes over the requirements for the foundation of your shed. This video will focus on the assembly of your shed and not the foundation. So refer to your manual in section 1 to see how to properly build a foundation for your shed. If you have questions regarding the foundation of your shed, please feel free to reach out to our customer service team at the number below. Line the holes in the connector with the holes in the end of the gutter channel. Secure the connector piece to the gutter channel with the hardware and repeat on the opposite side. Tighten the hardware, but be careful not to over tighten. You don't want to break the cap on the end of the nut. Line up the holes in the end of the truss brace with the holes in the middle of the gutter channel. Secure the hardware, making sure that the head of the bolt is inside the gutter. To make tightening this hardware easier, I like to add a Phillips bit to a pair of vice grips. Insert the truss rod through the connector and brace, and secure the nut on each end. Only tighten until the truss rod doesn't wiggle. Repeat the previous steps 4 more times for a total of 5 truss assemblies. Take the 2 gable halves that don't have a curve and line them up in the middle. Then secure with the hardware. Line the holes in the screen with the holes in the vent. Place in the front of the gable. And secure the hardware on the back. Take the 2 halves of the gable, the ones with the curve on the bottom, and line them up in the center. Then secure the hardware. Line the holes in the screen with the holes in the vent. Place on the front of the gable and secure the hardware on the back. Take the smaller square tube and insert a cap into each end. Place the tube on the gable, making sure that the dimpled holes rest against the gable, while the dimpled hole in the center is at the bottom of the gable. Secure the tube to the gable, making sure you start with the center holes. Then secure through the remaining oblong holes. Take the left door, the one with the Lifetime logo, and line up these holes in the square tube with these holes in the door. Then insert the tube into the bottom of the door, making sure to leave an extra few inches hanging out at the bottom. Add a cap to the bottom of the tube. Then finish sliding the tube until it's flush with the bottom of the door. Add the left latch bracket oriented like this, and add the hardware, only finger tighten for now. Locate the dimples in the top and the bottom of the door and drill them out with the provided drill bit. You'll only be drilling through the first layer of the metal tube. Be careful not to drill through the entire door. At the bottom of the door, place the spacer over the holes, making sure you can read the word down. Place the lock on the spacer, making sure it fits like this, and secure the hardware. Repeat the previous step for the top of the door, making sure the spacer says up. Place the two halves of the handle together, then secure to the door with the hardware. On the opposite edge of the door, insert a hinge tube into the bottom of the door, making sure part of the hinge tube hangs out on each end. Take the right door and line up these holes in the tube with the holes in the door. Then insert the tube into the end of the door, leaving a few extra inches. Insert the cap into the end of the tube and then finish sliding it up until it's flush with the end of the door. Secure the tube into place by inserting a self-tapping screw into this tip. Add the locking hardware to the door, making sure it's oriented like this. Then secure the hardware. Connect the two halves of the handle together and attach to the front of the door with the hardware. When adding the hardware to the back, make sure to add this bracket oriented like this. On the opposite edge of the door, insert a hinge tube at the bottom of the door, making sure to leave a few inches on each end. With the help of another person, connect an inner floor panel to an outer floor panel by lifting one panel 45 degrees, interlocking the tabs, and setting it back down. Repeat this process with the remaining floor panels, ending with an outer floor panel. The doors can go on either short edge of the shed. Decide what edge you want your doors on and add a strike plate into this recess on the outer panel. Secure the floor panels together by inserting a screw into these divots along the seam of each panel. Take 9 wall panels and insert a wall support into the center channel of the wall, making sure that these 2 holes closest together are directly below the cutout. Make sure the holes line up with the divots and secure with the hardware. Take a window wall panel and insert a wall support into these channels, making sure the 2 holes closest together are on the same side as the cutout. Take the corner panel labeled AGN and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure that the holes closest together go in the same end as the identifier. Take the corner panel labeled AGY and insert a wall support into this channel, making sure that the 2 holes closest together on the wall support are on the same end as the tabs. Take the corner panel labeled AGY and insert the tabs at the bottom of the panel into the cutouts on the floor panel. Slide the panel towards the narrow end of the cutouts to lock it in place. I'm comfortable tapping it with my foot to lock it in place, but if you're not, use a block and a rubber mallet. Lean the panel away from the floor, fold the corner, making sure to line up the tabs at the bottom with the cutouts on the floor, and apply downward pressure to lock in place. If you're having a difficult time getting the tabs to lock into place a block under each tab one at a time and apply downward pressure. take a wall panel and insert the tabs into the cutouts in the floors next to the corner panel. Slide the wall panel towards the corner panel to lock it into place. Make sure these lines at the top of the wall panels are even and secure with the hardware. Repeat the previous step for the next 4 wall panels. You can add your window wall panel anywhere on either of the long edges. We're going to place ours here. Add the corner panel labeled back right to this corner using the same process you did for the first corner. The 2 wall panels you use for the back wall must be the wall panels you didn't add a wall support to. Add the corner panel labeled back left to this corner. Now add 5 wall panels to this edge. Now add the corner panel labeled AGN to this corner. On the floor next to the corner panels, there are circular cutouts. Add the bushing going through the bottom on each end. On the back wall, add a wall support to the panel on the right, making sure the wall support rests in this channel directly under the cutout. You want the 2 holes closest together towards the top. Repeat the previous step for the left wall panel, except add the wall support just to the right of the cutout in this channel. There are 3 height settings for your shelf. They're determined by these divots. Choose the height setting you want for your shelf and add the triangular shelf brackets to these notches on the wall supports. At the same height settings you chose for your shelf brackets, add a screw anchor to the divots in the corner panels. Add the other shelf brackets to the screw anchors, making sure that the oblong holes go against the wall. Unfold the shelf and lay it flat on the ground. Insert the shelf support tubes into the channels underneath, making sure they click into place. Place the shelf on the shelf brackets, making sure that the word front is facing the entrance of the shed. Now secure the shelf brackets to the shelf. It may be helpful to have someone on the outside of the shed pushing the wall in. With the help of another person, insert the hinge tube in the left door into the bushing on the floor, making sure to line up the hole in the hinge tube with the slit in the bushing on the floor. Insert the cotter pin from the outside going in, separating the other ends to lock it in place. Repeat for the right door. Take the gable with the curve in it and place it on top of the hinge tubes. Line the holes in the gable with the holes in the corner panel and secure with the hardware. Place the gap flaps over these holes, oriented like this, and secure with the hardware. Take a truss assembly and rest each end into the cutouts closest to the door. While holding the truss, have another person lift the roof panel onto the gable and into the gutter job. You'll know when the roof panel is in place when the alignment nub lines up with this notch. Secure the roof panel to the wall panel through these 4 holes. If you're having a hard time getting things to line up, click on this link here to see a video on how to properly line up your roof panel. Now secure the roof panel to the gable through these 2 holes. Slide the roof support into the gable and the roof. Finish securing the roof panel to the gable and truss. Repeat the previous steps on the opposite side of the shed. Repeat the previous step, adding the next 4 trusses and 8 roof panels down the length of the shed. Lift up the rear gable onto the back wall and secure the hardware. Now you can add the last 2 roof panels. On the gable above the doors, place a roof cap labeled AGG on top of the gable and roof panels. Then secure to the gable with the 4 screws. Take a roof cap labeled AFY and lay it over the previous cap, securing through the truss and roof panel. Repeat this process for the next 4 roof caps. The last roof cap, labeled AFW, will lay on top of the rear gable. Take a skylight, fold it in half, place it in the hole, line it with the tabs, and secure with the hardware. To avoid damaging the skylight, be careful when tightening this hardware. The process for installing each skylight is exactly the same, so repeat this process for the remaining skylights. On the back of the shed, insert these clips into these holes. Make sure the arrows on the clips are pointing up. Peel the plastic film from each side of the window panel, then insert into the frame, making sure the lip is at the top and facing in. Then insert the small screw into this hole at the bottom of the window. Add the window latches to these divots, making sure to leave the hardware loose so it can slide freely. Now you need to make sure that your doors are level. Click this link here to see a video or refer to your manual in section 12 to see how to do so. Once the doors are level, go on the inside of the shed and have someone lock the door and tighten the remaining lock hardware. This section goes over how to anchor your shed to your foundation. Since we're inside, we're not going to be able to do that, but it's important that you do. So refer to your manual in section 13 to see how to do that properly. Thank you for watching this video on how to assemble your lifetime 8x15 outdoor storage shed. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up. For more content like this, subscribe to our channel. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to our customer service team and check out our other amazing products at lifetime.com.